We built a beautiful life together in Oklahoma, and that is one of the main reasons that we chose to take this opportunity to run. Is we looked and saw that that same opportunity is not being afforded to our children, and it's not being afforded to our grandchildren. And a big part of that is because the cost of insurance. And not just the cost, but the fact that insurance used to be something that people felt protected them. And now in Oklahoma, every day I talk to people, and I hear 7, 8 out of 10 people will say insurance is just a scam. And it's a scam that sucks because you have to have it, yeah. Right? And in Oklahoma, if you want to drive a car, got to have insurance. If you want to own a house, unless you're one of the privileged few, you've got to have insurance. You want to have a business, you want to be a doctor. Yeah. And your insurance is killing you. I'm sure the malpractice is just out of this world. So it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, we've all seen on the news, we've all seen the lawsuits that are accusing the primary insurance companies in the state of not only not paying their claims, but colluding together to increase rates. Yeah. You've probably seen that Oklahoma has the highest property and casualty rates in the nation, which is crazy. So if you want to take a step back and think about this, Oklahoma has bad weather. We're never going to have insurance rates like Oregon. We're not going to have like Rhode Island. But it's crazy that in Oklahoma it costs more to insure a house than it does in California, than it does in Florida, than it does in Texas or Kansas or Nebraska or Iowa. Because while we have bad weather, our weather is no worse than Texas or Kansas, Nebraska or Iowa. And you were in the Air Force, correct?
I was.
So you spent some time in Colorado Springs.
A little
bit. Okay. Yeah. So when I worked at USAA Insurance, Colorado Springs was known as the hail capital of the world. And USAA.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
they put more money into my house than I have. I'm not kidding. But I have
No, it's and that's wonderful that they've taken care of it. No, that's okay. So when I worked there, USA, every year there would be massive hailstorms come through Colorado Springs that would do incredible amounts of damage. And USAA figured out a way that they could insure the people who live there because they had a will. And the will was, well, it's self-serving, but it was a will because how do you get people to be a part of your family? You get them while they're young, you treat them well, you give them an incentive to stay and never go anywhere else. So the Air Force Academy cadets were all offered that insurance. So USA went out of their way to make sure it was a good product. All insurance companies can and do this, except in Oklahoma. So one of the reasons this happens in Oklahoma is historically, the insurance commissioner's office, the last 2 insurance commissioners, the 2 other people who are running for this office, are insurance salesmen. Right? So they work for the insurance industry. Their knowledge is how to sell insurance. They make more money the more insurance they sell. Not the more policies, the more insurance. So if I can sell you a policy that's worth twice as much as the policy you wanted before, my commission is twice as high. There's nothing wrong with that part of the world. That's just the way the capitalist economy works. But when you want somebody to regulate your industry, you don't want somebody who has spent their entire career trying to figure out how to charge you more money, right? So they make more money. And I said in one of my interviews on, I think it was on Fox 23, that I'm the best qualified candidate that has ever run for this office. And it's no offense to Kim Holland, it's no offense to other people. But you look at my resume, you look at their resume. I was an actuary, a product manager, I wrote policy forms. You think reading them is painful? You ought to try writing them. I've developed new products in new states. I've worked with insurance commissioners, insurance departments in more than 20 states. I've testified before legislators. I've helped work on legislative bills. So I understand, to quote my other quote, how the sausage is made. I get how this works. I know where the real data is and where the inflated data. This is something I say all the time, is if you watch a movie, and they're like crime story movies, one of the first things you'll see when it's kind of this nefarious mob thing is that they have 2 kinds of books. They have 2 sets of books. All insurance companies have 2 sets of books. It's the law. Okay? So when you listen to people talking about insurance companies lose money, insurance companies have these expenses, insurance companies do this, the first question that comes to my mind is based on which set of accounting. So they have the accounting that's used to protect the insurance company, to make sure they have enough money put aside to pay the losses that they're required to pay. And that's statutory accounting. Then there's the GAAP accounting system, which is basically not, again, if there's any accountants in the room, I apologize, it's the bean counter one. It's the one we all use when we file our taxes. It's the style of accounting that is used when we want to have a stock company. Okay, so when you look at insurance companies and they say we're losing money, are they? Like, what data are they using? The reality is the last 2 insurance commissioners pick and choose the data they want to use. Because you can have a really bad year, and yet one of those 2 accounting systems will show that it was a great year. Or you can have a really great year, and you can use one of those accounting systems to show that it was a really bad year. And we need somebody in office who can parse that, who can understand. Because if we talk about how insurance is priced, which is the most important thing to most people in the room, right? I'm gonna guess, do most of you think about insurance? Yeah. What do you think about? The rate's too high, right? So, do you ever consider what happens if you have a claim, except for Christine? Right? You worry about, the worry is your claim going to be paid, right? And these should not be things that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
Right? In this state and in this time and age, when you have a contract with a company, insurance is complicated and expensive. Nobody wants to buy it. Nobody ever wants to use it, because when is the only time you ever use your insurance? When something bad happens. So all of those things combine to make a product that's kind of weird. Why should you, when you need to use it, now have to worry about whether or not the company you've paid to have your back no longer has your back? They're going to protect themselves. And I believe that's a true tragedy.